off of David Moyes into the second half of the Premier League season, let's talk about some players to watch for the second half of the season.
Yeah, kind of been some surprise players popping up here that have been really exciting to watch, huh?
Maybe some players that are, that were flying under the radar. They might not be now. But a lot of players that would be intriguing to watch if you don't really have a favorite, or if you do, maybe finding a new one.
Yeah.
So, Targo, who you got?
Who do I got? So I mentioned this player in a previous episode as one of my young players to watch, Michael Olise for Crystal Palace. And I'm glad I picked him, man, because he's making me look like a genius right now.
He has.
Some of his performances. I love watching him play. He's fun. He likes to take on defenders.
And man, can he hit a free kick. Let me tell you.
That's right. So yeah, Michael Olise, man. I mean, even Arsene Wenger came out and said something about him, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Patrick Vieira has done a great bit of business getting him in the summer. So
yeah, I gotta watch him. He's a young player to watch, but he's also fun and one to watch now. Another one is a Wolves winger, Daniel Podence. Man, he's quick. He is a quick winger. He's got some great feet, and apparently now he can strike a ball. I know he was kind of struggling at the beginning of the season, but Wolves are starting to come alive under Lopetegui, the new coach, so maybe he can kind of be one of those players to keep an eye on, start firing in some goals for Wolves. I feel like that Wolves, man, they got a good team. They shouldn't be down there. I mean, Goncalo Guedes, he's one of their new signings they got this year.
Yeah.
From Valencia.
Matheus Cunha. You got Mateus Nunes.
Yeah, Mateus. João Moutinho, Ruben Neves. I mean,
Raul
man, those are all really good players.
They shouldn't be down there.
Podence can maybe be a breakout performer here for Wolves the second half of the season. And then honestly, it's a couple new signings, these next couple guys. One's going to be Cody Gakpo. He kind of lit up the World Cup there in the group stages for the Netherlands, scoring in a couple of games. Looked really good for them.
Yeah.
And then we find out Liverpool gets him here in January. He hasn't impressed so far, though, I'll be honest. But
he's been very, very disappointing.
He has. I think Klopp's playing him out of position. But he's still someone you want to watch. You know what he's capable of. We saw it at the World Cup. He might be one of those kind of players where maybe form is temporary, class is permanent kind of thing, but he's still young. So maybe he kind of helps turn Liverpool's season around. But I think he could be one to watch. I will say so far I've not been impressed, but new big-time player in the Premier League. You always got to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I mean, I sure hope he does pick up that Liverpool team because they certainly need it.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Liverpool go on a run. I really would. A lot of people don't like Liverpool because of rivalries. I absolutely love watching them. I have the last couple of years. I really hope that they pick their head out of their ass the rest of the season.
They definitely need to. Yeah, it's not where you expect a Liverpool team to be. Sitting in
ninth
place again, like ninth or something like that. Ninth place. So it's not where you expect Liverpool.
No.
And then my last player to watch in the Premier League is going to be Mihajlo Mudryk, the young Chelsea winger that they just got. Expensive player. Saw glimpses of him already, and he looked exciting. He looks like as you like to say, lightning in a bottle.
He really is, though. I mean, watching him against defenders, I don't mean to go with another electric pun here, but it's like kissing a spark plug. He's just flying all over the place. I mean, the guy already broke the season record for
top
fastest
speed
player on the field.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he was only on the field for like 20 minutes. Insane.
So yeah, that could be fun to watch. He's got that raw talent. We'll see if it can be developed. We'll see how Graham Potter does with that. But yeah, man, I think he could be fun. We'll see. I hope he's kind of like an Eden Hazard kind of player, lights up the Premier League.
I think they're two different players, Eden Hazard and Mihailo Mudryk. Eden Hazard was more of a take the ball centrally. I think Mudryk is more of a down the wing, cut the ball back, or get it on the break. But either way, yeah, I haven't been excited by seeing.
We'll see. We haven't seen much of Mudryk yet, so
I haven't been this excited watching anyone from Chelsea since Eden Hazard. So he's definitely one to watch. I will have to agree with you. As for me, I'm going to go with the guy who I said was a player to watch and haven't been disappointed is Garnacho from Manchester United. How he hasn't got a starting spot yet, I don't know.
But he plays in the same position as Rashford.
I don't know why they don't put him on the other side. He's better than Anthony,
man. They
better than
all that money on him.
Anthony just got his first assist this last week in the FA Cup to Casemiro. And he's been playing for the club for 8 months. Just saying.
Not a big Anthony fan, huh?
No, I can't stand him. Looks like a guy who's off YouTube who just likes to do fancy tricks while the ball's stopped. No end product. He did good at the beginning of the season. Now, not so much. Yeah, I don't rate him highly, and he is definitely not worth $100 million.
He got a couple wonder goals, like you said, at the beginning of the season.
Again, beginning of the season. Now? Anyways, next up, Kuro Matuma.
Matuma, man. He is one to watch.
He is on fire.
He's awesome.
And 3 years ago, he was still in college, at university. Wrote a dissertation on dribbling. Yeah, dribbling. And he looks like he did, because he's got the touch of a god. Watching him this last weekend.
He's scoring some fantastic goals.
He made Liverpool look stupid. Yeah. The kid is fantastic. I don't think he stays at Brighton very long, but man, what a steal for Brighton. Got him for $3.5 million.
I hope he can stay there at least one more season.
I hope so too. He's so good. So fun to watch. But yeah.
He's definitely one of my top players to watch for the rest of the season as well, Matoma.
I agree. Next up, I got Rico Lewis from Manchester City.
Youngster, all right.
Yeah, he's almost an anomaly for Manchester City. I mean, besides Phil Foden, no youth players really made it into the Manchester City squad. And now he's put Kyle Walker on the bench at this point. Plays right back. He's only 19. He looks like he could be a stud and an ultimate replacement for Kyle Walker, which is great for Manchester City as far as spending money. But yeah, he's come on and changed some games. He's been a stud.
He did against that Chelsea team when Man City played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. He made a big difference coming off the bench.
Huge difference. So he is definitely one of my ones to watch. Next up, I got a guy who, granted, at the beginning of the season was one of those you'd be like, okay, yeah, he's one to watch, but he's been hurt most of the season. So Alexander Isak for Newcastle United. He's finally healthy again. He's scored quite a few goals since being healthy. It's only been a couple weeks. But I think with the way the Newcastle squad plays, they need that world-class striker. He may not be world-class yet, but I think he will be. He's definitely one to watch. If he can start banging in goals, I think this Newcastle squad just flies up the table.
He can create goals too, man. I've seen him take on defenders out on a wing and put in some crosses for other players.
Yeah.
For, Joe Linton or something.
Yeah, he's a stud. He did great for Sociedad in Spain. He's adjusting to the physical nature of the Premier League, but I think he will be one to watch.
Yeah, the Swedish international, Alexander Isak.
And then last but not least, I didn't go with a player. I went with the entire Leeds midfield. Now that they've signed Weston McKennie, I think it's fascinating to watch. You got the American Team America trio essentially in the midfield. I mean, you got Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and Brendan Aronson, all starters for the American national team, all in that midfield. I mean, you're only really missing Yunus Musa to make that a complete midfield diamond of the U.S. national team. I think it's fascinating to see how the three of them and their chemistry will perform in the Premier League. It'll be very interesting to see if, Weston McKennie can stand up to the physical nature of the Premier League. I know you don't rate him very highly. I'm on the fence, but I do rate Tyler Adams and Brendan Aronson very highly. Mostly Tyler Adams.
Great name.
And, it'll be fun to watch them, whether they're good or not.
So I've said that all along, that this Leeds team is fun to watch. They're a fun team to watch. I think I've said they're like my second team, right? I look for their games to watch. They're fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're back and forth. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. And if these three can solidify that Leeds midfield and make them a little more sound defensively, I think they take it to the next level as far as Leeds go, and they start hopping up the table, which would be fantastic to see, especially for Jesse Marsh. So
yeah, he definitely hoped for it as, a U.S. soccer fan. Hope those U.S. players do well and that an American coach can do well in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's not very often you see one.
No.
But hopefully he can do well, and I'll be honest with you, hopefully he decides he doesn't want that very toxic U.S. national team job.
Honestly, I think he can do a good job at Leeds and should stay there.
I hope he stays, and I hope it builds on to bigger and better things for him, because he definitely deserves it as a coach. So, but yeah, those are my players to watch, and that's all I got.
All right, so that brings us to the end of this episode of Brews and Banter. Make sure you guys check out our Instagram, TikTok at Brews and Banter FC. Join our Facebook group. Join in on the conversation. Ask us questions. Tell us what you think. If you know of any other players you'd like for us to keep an eye on. As always, podcasts available on all podcast platforms. Make sure to check out our YouTube. We kind of cut down these videos a little bit so you can get shorter doses of us. And of course, check out our Red Bull account, buy some merch. We appreciate that. Help us keep this going. And that's it. We love y'all. Thanks for listening or watching, and cheers.
Cheers.